Everyone, please take your seats. Our program is about to continue. Hello, everyone. Our program is about to continue. Good evening, everyone. My name is Saidamir Egamberdiev, and I come from a small village tucked in the Fergana Valley of Uzbekistan. It's Uzbekistan. In my country, community is everything. People share, support, celebrate together. Back growing up, it was mostly just me, my mom, and my siblings. So I learned early on that if I wanted something, I had to find a way to make it happen. By the time I was 14, I had a dream that felt way too big for the place I was in. I wanted to study abroad, but first I had to learn English, so I started working part-time to afford English classes at a small prep center. That's where I met my English teacher, a Fulbright alum who completely changed how I see the world. She was sharp, fearless, and a little rebellious. I had never met someone like her. It was the first time I thought, wait, I can be different too. Later, I had the opportunity to come to the US through the FLEX program, Future Leaders Exchange. I was placed in Iowa. Yeah. Let's just say that for a boy from a remote Uzbek village, snowstorms, American high school football were very eye-opening. But even with the culture shock, I learned so much about independence, resilience, and friendship. When I returned home, I knew two things. I wanted to come back to the US for college, and I wanted to help others do the same. That second part really stuck with me. After more hard work and more side hustles, I made it. I'm now finishing my associate's degree in business administration with marketing at the Borough of Manhattan Community College here in New York. And since I got accepted to my transfer schools, I'm debating between two choices, either to study business intelligence and data analytics at Clarkson University or financial economics at Columbia University this coming fall. I also represent youth voices at the United Nations through NAFSA and support international students at the International Student Services Office at BMCC as they adjust to their new lives. One of the first things I tell these students, get involved with One to World. Sometimes I force them to go to their events just to see for themselves, because I've been with One to World for almost 2 years. And seriously, One to World helped me attend corporate leadership panels, perform at an open mic, volunteer with the Global Classroom, and this one shocked my mom, network with CEOs. My favorite moment was attending the Concordia Summit, where I met the presidents, prime ministers, and world leaders from different countries, and even spoke as a panelist at a youth event by Libra Philanthropies. No matter the event, One to World always makes me feel like I'm part of something bigger. I've made lifelong friends, met incredible professionals, and learned how to see the world with more compassion. And I'll be honest, I used to think being independent meant doing everything alone. But these connections taught me that it's okay and even better to lean on others sometimes. Growing up with very little to no help, I promised myself one thing. If I ever have the chance, I'll be the help that others don't have. You could say helping has been part of me since I was born, because my name, Saidamir, is a pretty unique name in Uzbekistan. I was named after a famous prosecutor from my village. My mom always hoped I'd become a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, and technically I didn't also disappoint, just not in the way that she expected. Instead of fighting legal battles in courts, I advocate for people in a different way, for justice, for opportunity. That spark really ignited when I was in high school. At the time, in Uzbekistan, they changed the laws to allow religious attire like hijabs in public places after years of banning them. But my school still refused to let girls wearing hijabs enter the building. It wasn't just unfair, it was illegal. I spoke up, but the school didn't listen. Typical. One true thing about me is that if I'm not heard, I'll make sure I'm loud enough. So I united my classmates' parents, and we met with the city's Minister of Education. And after a lot of conversations and a lot of pushback, we made it. We got the school to reverse its decision. That moment taught me something very powerful. When you do something bold and right, even if it's hard, it changes you. It gives you confidence, it gives you fuel to keep going, to keep doing what you're doing. That same bold determination is something that defines our next honoree, Kirsty Graham. Kirsty Graham has led the kind of life I aspire to lead. Across a career spanning 3 distinct industries, Kirsty has consistently demonstrated a commitment to leading with kindness and humility, qualities that many of her New Zealanders share, a belief that every person deserves to be treated with dignity and a wholehearted respect for different cultures and belief systems. These qualities certainly characterized Kirsty's 16-year tenure as a leader in the New Zealand Foreign Service. Championed by her mentor, she worked on a variety of economic, security, and trade policy issues, spanning bilateral relations with China, Japan, and the United States. Through a series of distinguished and highly demanding assignments, including as New Zealand's Deputy Ambassador to the United Nations for 5 years, she led with strength and empathy. Her internationalism started very early. When she was 8 years old, her family moved to Singapore while her parents served as lecturers at a university there. Her school in her small township in New Zealand had 65 students. Her new school in Singapore had 2,000. I can relate to what it's like to go from a very small town to suddenly being exposed to so much in a huge city. And I can tell you that it's really life-changing. With her family and then in her career as a diplomat, Kirsty continued to travel the world. And just as she crossed geographical borders throughout her life, she has also crossed professional borders. After leaving the Foreign Service, she joined Pfizer, where her roles included leading the company's policy, public affairs, and communications for their innovative medicines businesses, which provide life-saving medication in more than 125 countries. During her time at Pfizer alone, she took 30 trips to China, 13 trips to Africa, went to all of the BRICS, the Middle East, all across Europe, and it's really astounding. It was the Fulbright program that ultimately inspired her to settle here in the United States. Kirsty's father was a Fulbrighter, and his time here inspired a lifelong love and admiration for this country, which in turn rubbed off on Kirsty. After a decade at Pfizer, she joined Edelman in 2020, where she now serves as CEO of Edelman US. She was instrumental in transforming the first global health sector into its single largest sector, and she also oversaw the rest of Edelman's global practices, including its global impact and ESG team. Kirsty exemplifies what it means to be a good leader and a good global citizen. To all that she does, she brings empathy, a true respect for others, and a belief in the power of each of us to make a difference in our world. Tonight, it's my pleasure to present the One to World Fulbright Award for Global Citizenship to Kirsty Graham.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you. It is wonderful to be here. Thank you to Crichton, to Deepesh, and particularly to you, Saidamir, for that lovely and super generous introduction. Listening to your story, and I know a lot about it, and it's just deeply, deeply moving. Your story and others in the room gives a reminder of the courage, the optimism, and the action that you bring to the world, and it is so needed right now. It is a deep honor to be recognized by the One to World Foundation I think this organization's commitment to helping students learn and to fostering global understanding has never been more important than it is today. As I reflect on my own journey, I'm reminded that the seeds of respect, communication, and leadership were planted quite early for me. Growing up, as you said, Saidamir, in a very small rural town in New Zealand, my world was cozy and it was fairly contained. And when we moved to Singapore, we had come, as you said, from a school of 65 students, to my brother and I being the only foreigners in the local school in over 2,000 students. And it was honestly a massive shock to the system, but the greatest gift I think my parents gave my brother and me. Living in Asia, traveling through Europe, Russia, and beyond, I learned at a young age that to understand the world, you have to step into it. You have to listen, not just hear. You have to seek connection, not just comfort. And those experiences didn't just shape my education. I think now they shaped my character and my career. It also gave me an incredible sense of perspective. When you grow up on an island in the bottom of the world, you learn quickly how dependent you are on others, how deeply connected the world truly is, and how important it is to look beyond yourself, beyond your own country, beyond your own politics, and beyond your own echo chamber. Today, I do worry that we live in a world where we've lost that sense of nuance. We've gotten into a binary mindset, good versus bad, us versus them. And Edelman every year does an annual trust barometer, and our research confirms some of this. People are less likely than ever to live, work, or even talk with someone who sees the world differently. And most people see the world in haves and have-nots, believing that if someone else is benefiting, it must come at their expense. This zero-sum mindset is dangerous. It chips away at the social contract, and it endangers democracy. And as I think about the role I'm in now, advising companies and CEOs on complex and myriad issues that they face, economic volatility, workforce issues, climate considerations, the rapid pace of technological change, these are all borderless problems. They can't be solved in isolation. They can't be solved through a singular national lens or by any one institution, be it business or government. True leadership today demands more than ambition. It demands integrity, doing what you say you will do. It demands respect, listening deeply even if you disagree. It demands that our communications are honest, are empathetic, and are human. And that is particularly important in the age of AI. As machines get better at mimicking us, I think we frankly have to get better at being human. We must double down on what makes us human. Our ability to empathize, to connect, and to care. It's not just about what we say, but how and where we choose to say it, and ultimately, how we act. And it's about remembering that every single one of us has a responsibility to lean into the commonalities we share, not the divisions that separate us. In my career, from student politics to the Foreign Service to multinational corporate world and now in agency leadership, I've learned that nothing replaces the power of the human experience. Real, lived, in-person experience. In my years at the UN, I observed and learned that it was impossible to get a resolution in complex negotiations without a deep respect for different cultures and different belief systems. But let me be clear, I still believe in the purpose and the potential of the United States. My father was a Fulbright scholar who instilled in our family, and my brother and in me, a belief about the values that drew so many of us to the United States: the rule of law, human rights, environmental stewardship, and care for the most vulnerable. Think about some of the things this country has led, be it the Fulbright program, the Peace Corps, PEPFAR. These are expressions of a nation looking outward with care, generosity, and responsibility. And without doubt, the past 5 years have taken a toll all around the world on our sense of humanity. From the volatile geopolitics, racism, the ravages of COVID, economic disparity, and disinformation. But I am a glass half full person. I will never bet against the United States and against the basic goodness of the American people. And we must keep that optimism. We must choose to lead, and lead with resilience, with courage, and with kindness. This moment in history calls for leaders, not just in governments or boardrooms, but in classrooms, in communities, and conversations just like those supported and driven by One to World. It calls for leadership that is rooted in empathy, communications that build rather than break, and relationships forged through, not through screens, but through presence, touch, see, feel, hear, in person. It will always be valid to debate the role of government and the market, but let us not lose our capacity for rational discussion and equally for walking in someone else's shoes. Though we may disagree, we should not vilify those who think differently. So, to the students in this room, you are not just the leaders of tomorrow, you are the bridge builders of now. When you can, seek to expand your views, embrace differences, mentor others, and never forget that one individual can spark change. So let me leave you with this. The future is not something we wait for, it is something we build. So let's build it together with compassion, with humility, and a relentless belief in each other. I'm going to close with one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you to the One to World Foundation for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you again to Kirsty Graham. What an incredible honoree. Good evening, everyone. My name is Malgorzata Dwulat. I grew up in Toruń, Poland, a city known for being the birthplace of Nicolaus Copernicus. From my earliest days, my parents instilled in me a passion to travel. My mother is a German teacher, and my father is a musician. They were both fortunate to explore Europe through their work, and the stories they brought home instilled a sense of curiosity in me that made me want to explore too. I think that is where the scientist in me was born. I have a deep curiosity to investigate everything, whether it's a different culture or biology concepts. While I spent most of my life in Poland, I was able to travel during my undergraduate and master's degree program for semester abroad and internship, including to Germany and Spain. Each of those experiences was special and enriching, but for some reason, New York was always calling me. For many years, I would have vivid dreams of places in New York City, the Empire State Building, Ellis Island, or just random streets of New York. It's like I had been there 1,000 times before, even though I never once been to the United States. I started buying posters, reading books, and watching TV shows based in New York. My parents kept wondering what all this fascination was, but all I knew was that I was destined to be here. When I was awarded my Fulbright and embarked on this new journey to study at the City College of New York, I brought with me something very special, a $1 bill. This dollar belonged to my great-grandfather, who got it in 1903 when he entered Ellis Island. He eventually returned to Poland, but he kept that dollar as a symbol of his journey and passed it down through our family. My grandfather gave it to me, and I've carried it with me through all 4 years of my life in the United States. Perhaps it was my great-grandfather's memories or the many years of dreams I had, but from the moment I arrived in the city, it was if I always been here. There are plenty of challenges and difficult moments, but with time, things seem to fall into place. As a PhD student, my cohort is very small. I spent most of my time in the lab working on an organ-on-a-chip technology. Through this technology, our goal is to mimic breast cancer to test medication, offering more ethical, cost-effective, and efficient alternative to animal testing. Working on this new technology is very exciting and rewarding, but the lab can be a lonely place with many ups and downs. That is why I have really embraced One2Word and its programs. Through One2Word, I have been able to make friends and try new things. I have been welcomed into people's homes with such warmth and enthusiasm. Through my time here in New York, I've been able to embrace my creativity and curiosity and challenge myself too. Whatever life throws at me, I know that I can always get through it and come out of the other side. That is also a lesson that has been reinforced from some of the incredible stories I have heard from distinguished people from One2Word conversation with Words Leaders program. It has been so refreshing and helpful to hear that no matter how successful someone becomes, many of us experience things we cannot anticipate, or we have to take a path we did not expect. This insight was shared with me by many, including our next honoree. David Buckley has had a distinctive and distinguished life with many unexpected twists and turns. Like me, David also developed a deep interest in a place he had never been to before. In his case, my own home, Poland. It was by chance that David fell in love with this part of the world. As a freshman at the University of Notre Dame, he found out that the only available course that would satisfy needed credit was 19th and 20th century Polish history. Well, this turned out to be quite a twist of fate, sparking a lifelong fascination of Eastern Europe. He seized every opportunity to travel there, to Estonia and Lithuania on undergraduate travel and research grants, and then later to Poland on a Fulbright grant. After returning home, he embarked on a distinguished career in the US Army. David shared with me and other students recently that at that time, he felt like anything doing was worth overdoing. So he jumped in headfirst. He spent over 8 years on active duty, serving as an anti-tank platoon leader, intelligence officer, and company commander while assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division and the 160th Special Operation Aviation Regiment. He thought his path was set. After tours of service that included Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan, one phone call home to his wife changed his life. With his first child on the way, David found himself on the crossroads. David got his Master of Public Policy degree from Princeton, intending to stay in government service, but ultimately, it was business that drew him in. David joined McKinsey, working with Fortune 500 clients across the US and around the world. Now, at General Atlantic, where he has been for 14 years, he travels the world to more than 50 countries at last count, helping companies develop and grow. With his copious spare time, David gives back. He is an active member of the advisory board of the Nanovic Institute for European Studies at his alma mater, and he has been selected to serve on the Advisory Council of Notre Dame Worldwide. For the past 2 years, he has volunteered as an instructor at a summer school in Croatia for Ukrainian students, and he has helped to create a multi-year Holocaust Studies summer program in Poland for American, Polish, and Ukrainian students. He also has an ever-growing pool of mentees with whom he's in regular contact. I'll definitely be keeping in touch, David. To all that he does, David brings his limitless curiosity and spirit of service to lead with dignity and humility. Tonight, It is my greatest pleasure to present the One-to-Word Fulbright Award for Integrity in Leadership to David Buckley.
Dziękuję Gosiu za miłe słowa. It's a real honor to be here tonight, and I'd like to thank Deepesh, Kristen, Becca, all the members of the One to World team, the board, and all of you who have come in attendance tonight, all of the sponsors of tonight's event, and in particular my colleagues past and present from General Atlantic. I'm really thrilled to be introduced by Gosha, who, as you can see, really is emblematic of what the Fulbright program can do. This is not merely public diplomacy, right? This is bringing real people to the US and sending Americans abroad who are of incredibly high talent. And so I look forward to working with and supporting Gosha in the years ahead. She's an amazing young scientist and researcher. I'm in awe of what she's putting together. There's a startup that she has in the works, which we will hear more about in the future. And as someone whose last science class was, I think, AP Bio in high school, I'm definitely in awe. The Fulbright scholarship to Poland that I had so many years ago truly was transformational for me. You know, I arrived in Poland as someone very curious. I left as someone with a tortured relationship with the Polish language that exists to this day, with lifelong friendships, with a lot of stories, some of which can be shared in public, but really a lifelong love of the region, not only Poland, but its neighboring countries, and a fascination with all of it. It's a connection that has lasted to this day. It's popped up in my professional life, my personal life, over and over. Professionally, without the Fulbright, I wouldn't have worked with a joint Polish-Ukrainian-Lithuanian battalion in the Balkans on a peacekeeping mission, trying to translate with my pidgin Polish operational orders as we went on patrols together. Or I wouldn't have conducted due diligence of investment prospects in Warsaw and Poznan and the like. And then personally, I think personally my wife would say, well, what it has meant, a lasting impact, is we've carted around an unfathomably large Polish language library of books, right, that I think she's sort of like done with. But truly has been a lifelong passion that connects me to the region. As you can tell from my last name, I'm not Polish, right? There's not enough consonants in the last name Buckley. You know, the experience really taught me a lot, and I think all of us, nearly everyone in this room, we have this international exposure through the Fulbright, through other means. What does it teach us? For me, I think it taught me to try to listen first before speaking. It taught me to be humble, culturally humble, to realize you don't always have the understanding of a given situation. It introduced me to some people who had amazing experiences. A lot of my time in Poland, although I was researching Ukrainian Catholics in post-war Poland, I spent a lot of my time with World War II veterans and people who had experienced not only World War II, but also communist repression after it. I spent a lot of time in Eastern Poland and what is now, you know, Ukraine and Lithuania, and understanding just these intractable conflicts, or seemingly intractable conflicts, where people share maybe the same territory, the same village, but have very different senses of identity, different dreams, different memories. And yet with time, you know, many wounds can heal. And I think we see such a great example of that over the past couple of years with Poland's support of Ukraine. Despite that sort of fractured and difficult history amongst those two countries, really a beautiful example of people in time coming together. You know, more tangibly, in recent years, I've had the good fortune to be able to help, you know, in many ways with my alma mater, to establish some programs to help other students experience what I experienced, that transformational benefit, the transformation that comes from international exchange. And we've set up some programs, multiple programs with US and Polish students. And I think, you know, that's what I come back to when I think about the Fulbright program and I think about what One to World offers, right? These are programs, and this is an organization that opens doors for us. It opens doors for these students. And I think one of the lasting things it does for so many of us is to remind us to try to keep the door open, propped open just a little bit for others who follow behind us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, David. It's truly our privilege to have you with us tonight. We're going to take a very brief break for some dessert and coffee, and we'll return soon. All right. I'm going to ask everybody to take their seats for our last act. I'm going to ask everybody to take their seats. We have some bits more left. Thank you, everybody. I'm very excited to introduce our next speaker. Please give a huge round of applause for Valentina, a 7th grade student for our Global Classroom program.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Valentina Vargas. I'm Latina, 12 years old, and I'm in 7th grade at Icon Charter School 4 in the Bronx. I'm super excited and a little nervous to be up here talking to y'all today about something really important to me, Global Classroom. But first, I want to share a little bit more about myself. I'm half Dominican and half Puerto Rican, and one of the best things about my culture, hands down, is the food. I absolutely love dishes like arroz con pollo, arroz con guandules, and sancocho. They're not just meals, they're traditions that bring my family together. Music is also a huge part of my heritage. It's in everything we do, from celebrations to everyday life. I always carry my culture with pride. Another thing about me is I love science, like really love it. I want to be a scientist when I grow up, probably a chemist. Chemistry is fascinating because it explains how everything is made, even things you can't see, like atoms and molecules. I like learning the secret recipes behind the world. I like how tiny reactions can cause big changes. But Global Classroom is where I started exploring another kind of science, the science of people. Learning about other countries, traditions, and even big problems the world is facing, and how people are trying to fix them. I've been in Global Classroom for 2 years now, and every time there's a new workshop, I get excited because I know I'm going to learn something real and something meaningful. I also learned that it's Global Classroom's 40th birthday this year. Isn't that crazy? That's old. I really love meeting the Global Guides. It's like getting a passport without having to leave the classroom. I remember Georgina from the UK because she was hilarious. She told us about her culture, but also made it funny. So we were all learning and laughing. Then there was Haigari from Japan, who talked about how Japan is dealing with food waste, which really stuck with me. With everything going on like inflation and people struggling to buy food, it made me think about how we take food for granted sometimes. That workshop made me want to be a part of the solution. I saw how Global Classroom helped my classmates open their minds. That's what's so powerful about Global Classroom. It helps us see each other, not just as names on a map or pictures on the internet, but as real people as well. To me, Global Classroom means kindness, curiosity, and community. It means learning from people who are proud of where they are from, like I am. And it means growing up into someone who doesn't just know things about the world, but understands, appreciates, and respects them. Thank you to all of the Global Guides and to all of you who make this program possible. You're not just teaching us, you're inspiring us. Thank you so much for listening and enjoying the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Valentina. That was awesome. I'll even forgive you the 40 years is so old comment. So, good evening, everyone. These are bright tonight. For those of you who are new to One to World, my name is Jen Clarke. I am currently a board member of the organization and a former executive director. And I realized 10 years ago tonight, well, ish, I was at the gala. One to World was honoring one of my fellow countrymen and women, Ken and Patricia Taylor, who were honorees back in 2015. I was volunteering on the registration desk, and I listened to a global classroom presentation, and it choked me up a little bit, and I became a donor. And then a year later, I became the executive director, and now I'm on the board. So I hope you're feeling the vibe of what you experienced tonight. So the silent auction has wrapped up, so the winners of the silent auction should have received some text messages. Congratulations and welcome. We do have one very special live auction item tonight. I should mention I'm your auctioneer this evening for the very one live auction item and some more. So it is 2 nights at the Edgewood Tahoe Resort, stunning 4-star award-winning hotel, just steps from Lake Tahoe in Nevada. It's incredible. It's rejuvenating retreat, tranquil spa, 18-hole golf course, if you're into that kind of thing, and too many luxuries for me to mention. This live auction package includes the 2-night stay for 2 guests at a premier Lakeview room. It also includes dinner for 2 at the bistro. You'll also get a choice between a round of golf for yourself and your guest, or my preference would be the 50-minute custom massage for you and your guest. I think that sounds like a pretty relaxing experience to me. So we're going to start the bidding on this wonderful package at $500. And I will say I'm paying $500 for my little shoebox hotel room tonight in New York, and I don't get nearly the view, so I think it's a bargain. So do we have anyone here tonight that will, we've got one here for $500, $550. Do I see $550 for this excellent package? Back there, table 23, thank you very much. $550, $600, do I see $600 anywhere? We have $600, $650, $650. $650, $700, $700. Oh, over here in the back, $700, $750. See it, $750? Oh, over here, $750. Excellent, thank you, Aaron. $800, do I see $800? $800, back in the corner, $850. Help me out here, $850, come on, $850. Oh, sorry, thank you, $850 in the front. Excellent, $900. $900, did I see that? $900, $900, $950. Do I see $950? $950? $950. You are a woman who wants Lake Tahoe. $1,000, do I see $1,000? $1,000 in the back, okay, so $1050, do you have $1050? $1050? $1050, excellent, all right, $1050, $1,100, do we have $1,100? Sorry, the lights are bright, so you have to, okay, great, $1,100 in the back. Do I have $1,150? I have $1,150 in the back? Okay, $1,200. $1,200, $1,200, $1,200 there. $1,250? Do I see $1,250? About $1,250 in the back. Okay, so $1,300? Do we have $1,300? $1,300 here. $1,350. $1,350. $1,350. I got $1,300. Do I see $1,350? $1,350. Okay, $1,400. $1,400. $1,400. Okay, I like this. $1,450. How are we doing? $1,450? I have $1,400 in the back. $1,450. $1,400. Oh, sorry. $1,450. Okay. $1,450 in the front. $1,500. Do we see $1,500 anywhere? $1,500. $1,450 is the bid. Do we have $1,500? $1,450 is going once. $1,450 is going twice. $1,450 it is in the front table. Thank you very much. So thank you very much to our winner and to all of our auction winners tonight. I want to bring your attention back here for a moment. That was fun. As you've heard throughout this evening, tonight we're celebrating the power of belonging. How important that is in the current moment. And how meaningful it is, I'm going to get a little choked up, so bear with me, when we experience that shoot, with others. One to World creates the belonging in so many ways, as you heard tonight. Thanksgiving meal shared between a local host and some international students, guided tour from our resident architecture expert, William, who takes us through the New York signature neighborhoods, or a workshop where young people like Valentina, Matthew, and Zoe get to expand their horizons. None of that would be possible, none of it, without each and every one of you here tonight with us. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I know you have all done so much already, and it is my hope that you will show your support one more time by making a donation this evening. Instructions for that donation are on the screen behind me, as well as on the back of your menu card. You can do it online, going to onetoworld.org/dinner2025 and just click on the Make a Donation button, or you can scan the QR code. You can also complete a pledge card if you like that kind of old-fashioned touch. It's on your table, and you can hold it up, and one of the One to World team, the very dedicated professionals that make all of this happen, will collect that for you. So I'm going to start ambitiously, and because I've been very moved by the comments made tonight. I heard from a lot of our honorees the really important work that we do, that they reflected back to us, that soft power that Miki talked about. And so I'd like to ask someone to start things off by making a generous donation of $10,000. Do I have anyone in the audience that is willing to commit to $10,000? I have $10,000 here on the right. Thank you very much. Thank you. You heard from Valentina about what the game changer of Global Classroom is. It's bringing the world right into the K-12 classrooms here in New York and ensure that all students have access to the global education that is so important. This program opens American students' eyes, teaching them about international cultures and global issues, and opens their hearts, building that mutual respect, trust, and appreciation and empathy. So, any other 10,000 before I move on? Just checking. Okay. So, can I ask for anyone here to donate $5,000? $5,000 in support of One to World. Thank you very much. Thank you. We've got $5,000 here. Do I have any other $5,000 gifts? 5,000. I'll let you think about it, and I'll let you know what you do with that. So, in past years, and I'm going to go off script slightly, sorry, Kristen, $5,000 would send an entire delegation of international students to participate in the life-changing week-long foreign affairs conferences at either West Point or the Naval Academy. Typically, we do that every year. One to World has often been the international presence to guide those cadets, introduce those cadets, and exchange really powerful ideas at these foreign affairs conferences with them. Unfortunately, this year, that has been suspended. It is our hope that we will have it returned. At such time, $5,000 would go a long way to making a difference and sending a delegation of students back to those conferences. And that is so important to us. Do I have any other $5,000 gifts tonight? I'll remind you, you can do it here. If you want to be anonymous, feel free to scan the code, although I'd love to give you the bona fide and the kudos for contributing. So feel free to raise your hand for $5,000. So who's in for $2,500? What can $2,500 do for One to World and the students that we serve? Do I have 25,000 in the audience somewhere, anywhere? Somewhere over there, I think. Oh, we've got $2,500 over here in the front table. Thank you. Any other 2,500? Feel free to raise your hand, and even if I don't notice you, the One to World team has really good eyes. So feel free to raise your hand at any point. So $2,500 does a lot of support and extensive training and support that we provide for the global guides. So they're pretty brilliant as it is, but they do require some training to get them used to New York City classrooms and get them used to that experience. And so that $2,500 goes a long way to providing that kind of support and that training. Coming from all over the world, as Matthew and Zoe talked about, and Valentina too, bringing the world into the classrooms for them. They don't have to go travel the classroom, the world comes to them. So $2,500 would help with that support. So I'm just going to remind you that you can use your phones, you can start making donations online, or you can fill out your pledge cards. And so I'm going to move on to $1,000. Do we have any $1,000 supporters here tonight? $1,000. Yes, back there in the corner. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any other $1,000 supporters? Over here on the left, thank you very much. I would tell you that $1,000 would help support many of the other ways that One True World engages international students and scholars in American life. By being a driving force in creating those personal relationships we heard so much about earlier that break down barriers and foster understanding. It's the very heart of the Fulbright vision. When states may not communicate well at that level, it's the soft power and the people-to-people relationships that make the difference. And that is the work of One True World. So every dollar that you contribute tonight is making a difference. So can I ask for any $500 donors? Do we have $500 donors in the room? We have more of $1,000. Well, let me know. $1,000 back there. Excellent, thank you. Any other $1,000 before I move on? The lights are bright, so thank you. $1,000, thank you very much. Any others? Terrific. We're moving on to $500. Can anyone give $500? As you've heard this evening, what do we got? Did I miss some? Oh, in the middle. Thank you, Sharif. $500. Do we have any other $500? Let's think about just, how much would this evening, lovely dinner, great companionship, lovely inspirational messages be worth to you? If you came here as a guest, feel free to contribute what you think this would be worth if you were doing it on your own. So, again, $500, going once, $250. Do we have any $250 donors? We have got one in the front. Thank you very much, sir. Another in the front. Thank you very much, ma'am. Really appreciate every dollar donated. Another one up here in the front, up here in the front. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all the support. And again, online, back here, all kinds of ways to give. I'm going to wrap it up now, but I'm just going to send another reminder. We've got every dollar matters. If it's 5, 10, 25, 50, every dollar makes a difference. So I just want to say on behalf of everyone at One True World, the board, the staff, and everyone that we touch, thank you very much. Thank you so much for your generosity tonight. Now, I am very pleased to introduce our final award presenter for the evening, Isselle, a Fulbright grantee from the Dominican Republic.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting One True World, and of course, thank you, Jen. Good evening, everyone. My name is Isselle Medrano. I'm a proud Fulbright grantee from the Dominican Republic, and I'm currently pursuing my studies in New York University. Thank you. It is a true honor to be here with all of you tonight. And by here, I don't just mean in this event, just standing at this podium. I mean here in New York City on this journey, living this dream. I was born and raised in Santo Domingo, a vibrant city full of live, color, music, and warmth. I grew up surrounded by the unwavering love of my family, grounded in the values of community and resilience. My mother, who was raised in a rural village in the Dominican Republic, worked very tirelessly so that my sister and I could have the kind of future she never got to dream of. Her strength, her sacrifices, and her unwavering hope are entrenched into everything I do. She gave me the courage to imagine more and the determination to pursue it. You see, the Dominican Republic, it is a small nation, and in a world that often overlooks smaller voices, we rely not on power, but on presence, on our ability to show up, to connect, and to build genuine partnership with others. This is why I'm here studying a master's in international relations, with the hope that my newly learned knowledge could potentially serve my nation's developmental objectives. It is my greatest dream to one day become a diplomat. So I know that there's a lot of you here tonight. Hopefully, to speak up for my country, to ensure that even when we aren't handed a seat at the table, we pull one anyway because we have something meaningful to say. But if I'm being completely honest with you, this dream wouldn't have just remained just that, a dream, without the opportunity that the Fulbright program has given me. Let me explain why. There's actually no master's program in the Dominican Republic that could potentially help me prepare for the path that I want to take. The kind of training I need exists here in the United States, it's here in this country. But coming here on my own, it was not possible, not without help, not without hope, not without Fulbright. This program is more than a scholarship. It is truly a lifeline for me and for thousands of others across the globe. And I think that matters, especially in times like these. We're living through uncertain, often unwavering days. The headlines can feel heavy, the divisions too deep, but tonight is a reminder that what truly matters. We're here together, gathered around a shared vision of cooperation, of understanding, of believing in one another's potential. We're proof that borders do not define brilliance, that hope does not recognize hierarchy, and that dreams can come from anyone, anywhere. Some of us are born in countries with fewer resources, fewer advantages, but we come with ideas, we come with vision, with passion. We come ready to work really hard to give back and to build bridges where others see barriers. Fulbright is our chance, our leap of faith, and I can promise you, we do not take it lightly. We come to contribute, and above all, we come to grow into the kind of people who will return home and give back. Because that is the whole point, like, isn't it, right? To give back. To lift as we climb, to give others the chance we were giving, to use our knowledge not just for our own success, but for the good of our communities and the future we're trying to build. So tonight, as we celebrate, let's also remember what unites us, a belief in people, a possibility, and in the quiet power of one opportunity. Thank you for believing in students like me. Like, I really, really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce our final honoree, someone who, like all of us here, understand that through connection, curiosity, and compassion, we can solve even the most complex challenges together. James Berger's path to becoming an expert in solving global legal disputes started as a city planner. Yes, you heard that right. Fresh out of college, James, who grew up in Long Island, started working as a city planner with the city of New York. As he went into different neighborhoods talking to people about their community's needs, he confronted with socioeconomic and racial divides within the city. And he became acutely aware of the importance of the need to really listen and to work to understand where others are coming from. When James decided to pursue law instead, that willingness and desire to connect and comprehend others proved vital to his success. James describes himself as liking to take the road less traveled. This helps to put into context his legal career. Early on, when he was an associate at a law firm, he was assigned to work on a project in the business disputes practice of the firm. He wasn't exactly thrilled. It wasn't what he had hoped to focus on his career, but it didn't take long for him to realize that there was a great deal of opportunity in this realm. Recognizing a need that was not being met, he blazed a trail in a unique and challenging area of law that encompasses international disputes and cross-border enforcement. He's an expert in the litigation of international disputes in the US courts. These cases are very, very complex, often with litigation happening in multiple countries at the same time. Working with lawyers in other countries requires a great deal of collaboration, humility, and curiosity in order to find common ground. It is this cross-cultural element that James enjoys so much and is so skilled at. He speaks and writes often about international disputes resolution, and he was appointed an executive member of the Institute for International Economic Policy at the George Washington University, which bridges academic research with business leaders in order to improve policies related to global economic development. James is also deeply committed to enriching the knowledge of the next generation of lawyers. He actually has served as a guest lecturer at New York University School of Law, Fordham University School of Law, and Renmin University School of Law in Beijing. From my own conversation with James, I can attest to his warmth, authenticity, and ability to take very complicated ideas, come on, and explain them in ways that even non-lawyers can understand. Seriously, he's amazing. Tonight, it is my sincere pleasure to present One to World's Fulbright Award to cross-cultural collaboration to James Berger.
So there's a couple of things going on here for me right now. I'm following 3 really good speakers, or actually more than that, but the other awardees gave great speeches this evening, and they're all really tough acts to follow. But I was really, really touched by that introduction that Isselle just gave me. And Isselle, thank you for that. And the biggest problem is I didn't know what Isselle was going to say, and she basically just gave my speech, which is a little bit of a problem. But at the risk of repeating myself, I'm going to go through some of it, and maybe since it's the end of the night, you're all looking at the bar over there, I'm going to keep it a little bit short. It is really wonderful to be here with you all tonight. It's really a genuine honor to be a part of the One World family, and it's something that I've only begun to recently learn about. I'm fairly new to One to World, but in the time that I've been involved in it, I've really, really taken by the organization's message. I want to give a special thanks to Deepesh, to Kristen, and to Creighton for doing so much to teach me about this organization and tell me the way it touches lives. And I've seen that all. I think we've all seen that here tonight. And on a night where we come here and celebrate community, I would be remiss if I didn't mention and give a big thanks to my DLA Piper community and my folks who are here tonight. They share a role, or they share and play a role in every success that I feel, and I hope that I do the same for them, and I'm glad that they're here. And finally, I want to acknowledge my favorite international scholars, my son Cole, who's here in the room sitting right down there, who spent a semester of his junior year in the Netherlands, and his little brother, who would be here tonight, but for the fact that he's on an airplane over the Atlantic Ocean right now on his way home from a semester at Dauphine University in Paris. So when I first spoke to Deepesh about One to World, I was, as I said, immediately attracted to the mission and the vision of this organization. I've always been very curious, often to the point of annoying those around me. My folks from my firm can tell you how I observe and comment on just about everything around me. But I've always thought of myself as an explorer. And I stand up here tonight as someone who feels very fortunate to be in a profession and a practice that allows me to see and meet people from so many parts of the world. But as we celebrate tonight international education and cross-cultural exchange, I'd remind everybody something that Isselle talked about in her presentation tonight. You don't need to get on an airplane or fly across the world to appreciate the beauty and the enrichment of cross-cultural exchange. And when I think about that path that led me to be standing here tonight, I realized that my attraction to different experiences and viewpoints started way before I was a lawyer, handling cross-border disputes. And this is where Isselle basically said what I'm going to say. I grew up in the New York City suburbs, and before going to law school, I was a city planner. It was really a passion of mine and something that I really wanted to do. And in that first job, I used to conduct public hearings. I used to coordinate housing development plans in central Brooklyn. And as part of my responsibility in doing that job, I had to go out and conduct public hearings in Brownsville and in other parts of central Brooklyn where people's experiences, people's life experiences, and other circumstances were a lot different than mine. And I think about the experiences I had as a 22-year-old kid, going out, talking about serious stuff, and talking to people with whom maybe I did not have so much in common. Fresh out of college, brimming with idealism, wanting to change the world, and realizing when I went out and talked to people about what the city government wanted to do for them, that they had much different perspectives on that than I did. And I would suggest to everybody here, and we've heard tonight about people coming in here from different countries and the travel that we've done outbound and the Fulbrighters who are here who have come from elsewhere. And there's no doubt that those are really rich experiences that they've had, but you don't have to get on a plane to go and do that. Keep an open mind, talk to people who have different life experiences than you do. You will learn so much more. And I think we're here to celebrate that tonight. And it's clear, and it's become clear to me since I've gotten involved with One to World, that One to World really helps foster those exchanges. And that's a really special thing about it. And it's one of the reasons why I feel so honored to be standing here tonight as a new member of the One to World family. Hearing about the Global Classroom Series, talking about the conversations with world leaders, which I've already taken part in, and hearing the conversations and the perspectives from the students that I've met, the Fulbrighters, some of whom are in this room tonight, some of whom aren't, they have been fantastic for me to hear these new experiences and realize what a gift it is, what a gift curiosity is. I've always had it. I think the folks in this room had it. And one thing that One to World allows people to do is to share that gift of curiosity. To have foreign students go in through the Global Classroom program and share their different perspectives with kids here in New York City is fabulous. So I said I would be brief, and I was going to say one of the things I learned about One to World is that Deepesh is an engineer. He is very precise. He told me how long to stay up here. I think I've already exceeded that amount, and he's probably going to cue up music and throw me off the stage. So I'm going to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to One to World for this honor. Thank you all for coming here tonight. This is a celebration for you, and thank you very much. Don't want to forget that.
Thank you, James. Yeah, you might need that. Okay, so before we do the drawing for the case of award-winning wine, I want to once again thank all of tonight's presenters and honorees. Your stories are a testament to the transformational work that One to World aspires to do every single day. I also want to congratulate all of tonight's auction winners. If you have not yet made a donation and would like to show the support of our work, there's still time. You can scan the QR code on the back of the menu card, or you can visit onetoworld.org/dinner2025 and click on Make a Donation. There are also pledge cards on the table if you'd like to prefer to donate the old-fashioned way. There are also host cards on your table. We depend on you, our friends and supporters, to share your time and experiences with our outstanding students like the ones you've heard from tonight. If you are interested in hosting students, please fill out those cards and leave them on your tables, and we'll follow up with you later. And now, for the door prize. This is a case of eco-friendly, biodynamic French wine donated by former honoree Kevin Parker and Chateau Marie. Our only rule for this is that you have to be present to win. So when you hear your name, please let us know you're here and come to the front to give us your delivery information. And the winner of the case of wine is Rafael Costa. All right. So just make your way to the front at some point before you leave, and we'll take down your information. So on your way out tonight, we have a couple of other treats. In addition to the postcards that you have on your table and those little suitcases, which are extremely adorable, they have little treats inside them. Please take those with you. Please take the postcards with you. And be sure to pick up a gift bag with a special item donated by our friends at Performance Beauty Group. They will be on a table at the exit before you leave. Thank you all for being here tonight. I hope you will stay connected to One to World in years to come, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you again, and safe travels.